This is Golden Tree Publishing, and we're going to start doing a little series of what we're reading here at Golden Tree or what we have read, and just for recommendations. Again, these aren't going to be reviews. We're not going to say whether we didn't like something per se. Most of the stuff we're going to give is going to be stuff we've read and we've liked, and we're recommending that somebody else read, again, because we don't want to get into the review game, mostly because we also publish comics, and it's just a bit weird to be critiquing other people's work when you make comics as well. So again, if you're going through these videos as we start to make more of them, and wondering why we only talk about things we like, and that's why, because we're not really doing reviews. We're just saying what we've read and what we would probably recommend as well. And also, hopefully, going forward with these videos as we go, there'll be a little more production value. But again, we don't want to give anything away either, so I'm not going to be showing a lot of pages when we do these reviews. But we will be talking about them, showing some of the covers and things like that. And I think we're going to, and we're starting with Wolfsmund, basically due to the idea that a lot of people were disappointed with the ending of Game of Thrones, and there's a lot of talk about how people feel like they wasted 8 years. Well, this is a series published by Vertical, and it's written by Mitsuisha Kuji, and I probably butchered that name. But again, it's not an 8 year series, it's an 8 volume series, volumes 1 through 8, and we have 2 through 7 here. I'm not sure where 1 and 8 have been placed. They're somewhere. And volume 4 is underneath, or volume 6 is underneath volume number 5, just because the cover has a massive spoiler, and I don't want to ruin the series for you while I'm telling you about it. And Wolfsman essentially follows, it's historical fiction, actually follows Switzerland in the 1300s when they were fighting against the, I believe it's the Dutch. They're fighting against the Dutch and Duke Leopold the First, and it kind of gives you a good idea of why Switzerland has the cantons and why they've remained neutral in a lot of wars, and why they're such a small nation and nobody's really been able to conquer them per se. And again, so it really follows the start of, I guess, the legendary William Tell and his rebellion. And the good thing, or I should say, I don't know if it's a good thing, but the great thing about this story is this covers something in history that isn't really taught in American schools. So I think a lot of Americans aren't going to be very familiar with it. So I think that makes it for a better read, because then you get more surprises as you're reading it. But again, if you like Game of Thrones, you're really going to like this. It doesn't follow the linear protagonist antagonist kind of storyline, and it doesn't have those like hard lines on good and evil. There's kind of a morally ambiguous characters, just like Game of Thrones, and the story and pacing is also very similar to Game of Thrones. So if you like Game of Thrones, you're really gonna like this. If you like fantasy, medieval, I think you're really gonna like this as well. And you're also going to want to pick it up if you are a person who feels like comics are all about superheroes, they're all tights and capes. This will show you that there's a lot of comics out there that have nothing to do with that, and are very good to read if you're into, just general drama and storytelling with action. That's kind of what Wolfsman's going to bring to you. We definitely recommend it. We basically just read it as each volume came out, when the series was just starting out. Once you read the first volume, you're really going to want to probably just crush all the rest of the volumes, because it's such a good story. Now, if you are going to get the volumes, there's a good chance that they're not going to be at your bookstore. But I would argue that I would say, don't order them from Amazon if you don't have to. Go to your local comic shop and ask them to order it for you. That way you can support the local comic shop and give them some business, versus giving all your business to the internet. But again, if they can't order it for you, then you can definitely find these online at various. You can find it on Amazon or or you can probably order from Barnes and Nobles. You can order from various retailers online, but I would say first give your local comic shop a chance to order it for you and give them some business. But again, if you were disappointed in Game of Thrones, this will not disappoint you from the beginning to the end. It's really good. And if you're looking for that kind of intrigue and kind of not knowing what's going to happen next exactly and how things are going to play out, this is going to be the story you want to read. And I'll just show you a little bit because I don't want to do any spoilers or anything like that, but you can see it's really great artwork, really detailed. And again, like I said, I don't want to give too much away here, but you can see, I mean, it's really dynamic pages, and you'll see some really familiar things if you like Game of Thrones in this book. So I would definitely recommend, we definitely recommend you read it. Again, you know, because here at Golden Tree, of course, like anybody, we're not just reading our own stuff and writing our own stuff. We're reading other people's stuff too, and we might as well give them a shout out as well. And again, this is Wolfsmund, and it's published by Vertical. And again, you can get it online, but we recommend you go to your local comic shop to pick it up. And it follows in 1300 Switzerland, with a rebellion started by William Tell against Duke Leopold I, and it's really good. If you like action, if you like drama, if you like twists and turns, if you like characters that are more true to life, they're not all Boy Scouts, they're not all completely evil, they're just people making decisions in the day-to-day, and sometimes they get it right and sometimes they get it wrong. That this is going to be the story that you want to read. If you're a person that doesn't read a lot of comic books and you feel like that's because you're not really into superheroes, but you like Lord of the Rings, you like Game of Thrones, you like, I don't know, Downton Abbey, this is going to be a book that you're really probably going to enjoy. So go ahead and pick it up. Try your local comic shop first, but if not, you can get it through various venues online. And again, it's 1 through 8. It's an 8 series book, and each book runs about 190 pages. So it's not going to take you that long to get through it as well, and it'll be a great read. So that's what we're reading for this week, and we'll see you next time. Maybe we'll have something completely different for you because we read a lot of different things here. Thanks.